The largest democratic exercise in Africa is underway. Nigeria's presidential and National Assembly elections kick off the country's general elections. With 93.4 million registered voters, all eyes on the continent and around the world are on Nigeria. Unfortunately, there are still concerns as to those who peddle in disinformation can be checked during what is a very crucial and critical time for Africa's largest economy. Disinformation, fake news and misinformation can have serious consequences on voters and the voting process. As we right in the heat, get into the thick of the action and all that, on this episode of The Proof, powered by Africa Check, we'll look at how we can check disinformation during this time, and also how people will be able to differentiate accurate information from false. I am Joe Hanson, welcoming you to The Proof. Welcome back. The elections are seen as the most important in Africa or in Nigeria's democratic history. And over the past few months, Africa Check has fact-checked a lot of information about them. But there are concerns on the effect of disinformation on the elections and how this might affect voter turnout on election day. From previous elections and what fact checkers have observed, there is recurring disinformation that is spread on election day. To spot disinformation on election day, it is important to know how to identify disinformation and tackle them when you come across them. Well, joining me now is David Ajikobi, Africa Check's Nigeria editor. Welcome. Tell us, David, what are the types of disinformation we should look out for as Nigerians vote?
Thank you very much, Joe, for that question, and thanks for having me. So essentially, we've identified some types of disinformation that people are likely to see on election day, and we've categorized them into 6 or 7 broad areas. First and foremost, they're going to be seeing news that one candidate has contested another candidate, which will discourage other people from voting. They're going to see false information about last-minute endorsements. They might see fake videos and photos of election violence that may not be related to this election. They might see false news about BVAS, which is the primordial accreditation system, which is being used in certain parts of the country for the elections. They might see fake news about people voting without PVCs in certain polling units, where INEC has actually come out to say, if you don't have your PVC, you cannot vote. They will see false photos or news based on existing narratives about candidates. And then the last one is they might likely see photos and videos with claims that vote buying is going on in some polling units, and possible evidence of people who claim they were caught buying votes. And it might happen, but there's a likelihood that old photos and videos might be used to push these narratives. So those are 7 broad areas of types of disinformation people might see on election day. And as we go on in this conversation, we will tell them about how you can spot them, debunk them, and this essentially is for us is trying to do what we call pre-bunking. We already know that this things will trend, or they might become viral, they might go viral. So how do we prevent people from believing in them? And people also help people to check the authenticity and the veracity of those claims that we'll see on election day.
There's really a lot that voters in Nigeria need to watch out for. Can you give us examples of disinformation you mentioned so that people can actually have a better understanding of how they could play out?
An instance of disinformation of false endorsement we saw was in 2019 elections, where Obasanjo had endorsed Buhari in the morning of that election, and it was spreading on social media. So we fact-checked the claim, and we found that it was false. Another example was also during the 2019 election. On election day, when a doctored photo showed that Buhari voted for the opposition party, it showed what he was getting on that day, but with a ballot paper showing that he had voted for another party instead of it. That was cited in that disinformation was that a missing piece of misinformation. He voted for the own party because to mislead people on election day, and it's very important for us to be prepared for them.
Do you have other information to pass across before we end today's episode, David?
Yes, Joe, I actually do have some other information. You know that elections, know that only election results declared by INEC are correct. It's very important for people to understand that. Please do not share election results if they have not been verified by INEC. It is very important. We have seen evidence that this is one of the major causes of post-election violence, where a candidate has been declared, a particular election result is already going viral, whereas it has not been authenticated by INEC, and people are already running with it. And we see that this actually causes a lot of tension and crisis. Check their social media handles regularly for updates, or follow credible media organizations covering elections. Fortunately, INEC has come up with platforms where you can go and also follow the election results live by yourself on INEC portals. So before you share anything, hold on before you share anything on election day. Make sure you are able to answer the following questions. The first question, who wrote it? The second question, can I verify these claims? Third question, does the information make me scared or angry? There's going to be a lot of information that will make you want to panic or make you angry or scared. So you have to look out for those kind of things. How does it make me feel? The fourth one is, does it include shocking photos or videos or audio? Am I sure this is not a hoax? Once you have that at the back of your head, that am I sure, then you can begin to revert to some of the verification skills we've spoken about in this show. Remember that the first step in ensuring that misinformation and disinformation, this is the first step in ensuring that misinformation and disinformation does not go viral. Because if you can pause, reflect before you share, that's the first step in making sure that disinformation and misinformation on election day does not go viral. Because it is very, very, this election is it's a very critical election for us. And like we have seen that disinformation and misinformation in the build up to the election has been very, very worrying. And we hope that it will not be so much on election day, but we feel that we have to be prepared that anything can happen, and so that we give people the right skills, the right ways to think about the information they see on election day, because it is very important for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David, for joining us. When we come back, we'll bring to you the verdict. Nigeria's elections are here, and misinformation peddlers will be trying all means to achieve their agenda by sharing inaccurate information across social media platforms. Yes, it is important and it is best that we are all careful about whatever information we come across and receive from our community, both online and offline. The best way to avoid falling victim is to be prepared for all of these, and also arm yourselves with the knowledge of how to tell fact from fiction. Scrutinize all the information you come across and make sure you subject it to stress tests to weigh what you are being asked to believe. Once you see any information that makes you scared or makes you question the source, don't bother to share. Don't even try it. Well, all you need to do is follow the fact-checking steps listed by Africa Check. Now, you can also visit africacheck.org or tweet at africacheck_NG. Now, don't forget to also follow us on all social media platforms. We are at News Central TV, and you can check our website. It's www.newscentral.africa. That does it for this episode. I'm Joe Hanson. I look forward to come back and let's talk some more next time.